Hello everyone, welcome to India Defense Institute Daily Current Affairs. So let us see some of the important current affairs from 7th to 17th August. The first one is National Handloom Day. Yes, the National Handloom Day has recently celebrated on August 7 by the Ministry of Textiles. This year's theme of 2020 is National Handloom Day celebrations. And yes, why this specific 7th August has been chosen in the sense, on this day only the Swadeshi movement, the famous Swadeshi movement, go local, boycotting foreign goods, and go for Indian made goods, particularly in textiles, which is Khadi textiles made by Charka. And to celebrate that day, the Swadeshi Day only, the same Swadeshi movement, it was launched on the same date in 1905. To commemorate it only, the National Handloom Day has been celebrated. Yes, so this is to create awareness among the people and also to the how this Ministry of Textiles and how this Swadeshi movement and also the present handloom industry contributes to the socio-economic development of the country. The second one is corals. So recently Thailand has become another country after Nauru, which is a Polynesian country, an islandic nation in Pacific Ocean, and it follows the suit of Nauru, and Thailand also has banned the sunscreen lotion, which is used to be applied on the body, and people used to get sunbath along the beaches, yes, because it contains chemicals that damage corals, which is dangerous to corals. Yes, so in Thailand lot of tourists used to come every year, so it has caused the destruction of the coral. So that is why this sunscreens has been banned by the Thailand Department of Conservation. Yes, so it is destroying this coral larvae and obstruct this coral reproduction. Yes, and it leads to coral bleaching, death of corals. Yes, so nearly these chemicals has been banned: oxybenzone, octinoxate, 4-methylbenzylidene camphor or butyl paraben. So all these are sunscreen elements, and it is chemically proved to be destructive to corals. Yes, next is Major Dhyanchand Khel Ratna Award. So recently, after seeing the India's performance both in women's hockey and men's hockey, both won bronze medal. Yes, this India's highest sporting honor, which is Khel Ratna Award. Before that it was Rajiv Gandhi Khel Ratna Award. Now the name has been changed to recognize the contribution of Indian hockey players, both women and men, in the Olympics, in the recently happened Olympics, Tokyo Olympics. And yes, the name has been changed from Rajiv Gandhi Khel Ratna to Major Dhyanchand. Yes, so Major Dhyanchand is a Indian hockey player, and he is a legendary player, one of the greatest player in the history of sport globally, and he only sown the seeds of hockey in the minds of Indian people. Yes, so with this extraordinary feat, India has won 3 Olympics gold medal in 1928, 32 and 1936. Yes, and he was awarded this Padma Bhushan in 1956. He is a legendary hockey player. The next, it is Blue Book on Climate Change. Yes, this Chinese Meteorological Administration, CMA, has released this Blue Book on Climate Change, which talks about how climate change is affecting China's climate and all other geographical conditions of China. So China is facing a higher risk of experiencing extreme weather conditions. Means, when the drought comes, extreme drought will come. When rainfall, extreme rainfall. Cyclone, extreme cyclone. Yes, because of the climate change. And this Blue Book, studies all the related associated things of Chinese climate and other details. The extreme heavy precipitation, heavy rainfall has increased, and also the cyclone has increased. And according to this Blue Book, what it says, China is really sensitive, and a significant major area of the Chinese territory are subjected to or under the impact of global change, because of the rise of global temperature. And also it says that the climate risk index of China has increased manifold. As of now, it is the 3rd highest value, China. So the climate risk, the first one is Japan. Japan stands first in the climate risk, and China stands 3rd. Next is Bajrang Punia. Recently, our Prime Minister Narendra Modi has congratulated Bajrang Punia, who is a wrestler, for winning bronze medal in the Tokyo Olympics. So as Bajrang Punia is a freestyle wrestler from Haryana, okay, which he participated in the 65 kilogram weight category, and the feat that he is the only Indian wrestler to win 3 medals at the World Wrestling Championship. He is the only wrestler from India, and he won this bronze medal by defeating Kazakhstan's player. Yes, with this feat, Bajrang Punia and also Ravi Kumar Dahiya, he won the silver medal in the 57 kg category after a long, sustained fight. So the Indian wrestlers, particularly from men wrestlers, they have taken the standard, they have raised the benchmark, and they have did their excellent by earning 2 medals in wrestling category. Yes. Next, it is Neeraj Chopra. Yes, our hero. The 23rd year old Neeraj Chopra has created a history by winning the maiden golden medal. Okay, the first golden medal for India in track athletics. Before it is Abhinav Bindra in 2008. Okay, so Abhinav Bindra, shooter for shooting, he won the individual Olympic gold medal for India in 2008, and after that it was Neeraj Chopra, okay, who got the second individual gold medal, but first gold medal in track athletics, in track games. Yes, so he has the best throw of 87.58 without much effort. We have all seen the this feat in news. Without much effort he has thrown. Yes, and he, as I told you, is the first athlete to win gold ever and India's second ever Indian Olympic medalist. Yes, first athlete to win the gold, and he has created history, and upcoming World Athletic Championship is there, and he is vying for a gold there as well. Yes, and it increased the medal tally of India, and India for the first time crossed the 6 medal number bridge, and as of now India had 7 medals in Tokyo Olympics. 7. Previously the highest medal won by India 6 in London 2012. The next is Aditi Ashok. Yes, the Aditi Ashok is the upcoming and recent finding, like a star, and she came 4th in the Guelph at Olympics. 4th. Yes, so she came close to the historic Olympic medal in a women's individual stroke play, Guelph, and she has finished 4th. If she finished 3rd, she would have got bronze medal. She is a professional golfer from Karnataka, and she plays on this Ladies European Tour and LPGA Tour in the US. Yes, and she was also the first Indian to play and win LET, Ladies European Tour, and second in the European circuit. And she has the credit of the first ever golfer to represent India at the Olympics. Yes, and she made the Olympic debut at 2016 summer and finishing 41st. So in just 4 years, she came from 41st to 4th, and this is a huge feat. And so far, the excellent improvement among all the sportsperson in Indian Olympic contingent, it is Aditi Ashok from 41st to 4th. And yes, she qualified for the 2020 Olympics and finished 4th. Maybe next year we can expect, next time in the Olympics we can expect a gold or at least silver from her. Next is Seiko R. Kamo scheme. So recently Ministry of Minority Affairs, okay, informed the Rajya Sabha about this scheme. So what is this scheme? It is a skill development scheme for the minorities, specifically linguistic and religious minorities, for the youth for 14 to 35 years age group. And the objective or the aim is to provide employment opportunities, okay, of workers, school dropouts. So the people who discontinued their education because of some family issues and other issues, they will be skill developed. They develop their skill, recognition of prior learning, RPL, recognition of prior learning, teaching them life skills, vocational training, and they will improve their skill ability. And yes, this scheme also ensures 75% placement, and out of that 50% will be in organized sector and remaining in unorganized sector. Yes, the implementing organization have to establish linkages with the placement services. So a lot of private placement services will be there. They have to have a linkage, and then after giving training by means of this placement services, okay, external placement services, they have to outsource the placement and they have to get the placement for those people. Yes, and they are also providing these loans for the financial institutions by the National Minority Development Finance Corporation and other authorized banks, scheduled commercial banks, for this purpose. Next, it is Constitution Scheduled Tribes Order Amendment Bill 2021. So recently Parliament has passed this Constitution ST Order Amendment. They have made an amendment after the Rajya Sabha has already approved. Yes, so this amendment has been done to bring about some changes in that Scheduled Tribe Order. because the constitution empowers the president. Whenever I say president, it is the prime minister plus council of ministers. With the advice of prime minister and council of ministers, the president will specify who are all the scheduled tribes, who are all the scheduled tribe in a state and union territories. And also it permits the parliament to modify the list of notified SCs. So the president will prescribe who is a ST, and the parliament has the power to modify, to bring any changes. According to that, the parliament has bring some changes. This bill removed the Abor tribe from Arunachal Pradesh from the list of STs. They have removed from the scheduled tribe category. And also lot of other changes has happened. See, Kamti replaced with the Thai Kamti, Mishmi, Idu, Taron are replaced with Mishmi Kaman. So lot of the name changes have been done for different tribes of the Arunachal Pradesh and other northeastern tribes. Then Gogra. So the Gogra is here. You can see the Galwan Valley clash. This is where the Gogra area is there. So after this July 13 talks, India and China, they moved a further step towards to restore the peace, so that by moving the contingents back to their older post. So while they are advancing, they clashed at Galwan. So they are starting to disengage. Disengage means taking back the troop, falling back. Yes, after nearly 12 rounds of military talks. Yes, so because of the worst violence that happened in the Pangong Lake and the patrolling point PP-17 at Gogra. So this is the hot spring patrolling point, and this is a Galwan Valley patrolling point 14. Yes, and this disengagement started with return to the permanent bases. So because of the advancing, India advanced further and north, and China advanced south. Because of this only the clash happened here. This dotted line shows the LAC, line of actual control. So this is where this is the Pangong Tso Lake, and this is the north bank, and this is the south bank. This is where this clash happened, and this is the Galwan Valley. This is where the clash happened. Yes, and the next round of talks will happen at this PP patrolling point in Hot Springs. Yes, at the place called Demchok. Yes, so because of the recent military talks only, the China and India were able to destabilize, or able to reduce the conflict between both the countries. Next, it is Kaziranga. Yes, the Kaziranga National Park, which is in Assam, has become the first national park in India to equip with a satellite phone. This is the first time ever to a national park to get a satellite phones. Yes, for the law enforcing agency, because the Kaziranga is home to one-horned rhinoceros. One-horned rhinoceros, which is vulnerable according to the IUCN, International Union for Conservation of Nature. So this is the one-horned rhinoceros. It is a home to the one-horned rhinoceros, the Kaziranga. To avoid this poaching of this animal only, the Forest Department of Assam has started this satellite phone, giving satellite phone to the law enforcing agencies. And so it will be given to the forest personals, and simple to prevent the poachers, people who hunt, and also anti-poaching measures. And generally during the June-July time, the Brahmaputra will flood, and it will cause lot of flooding. At the time also, the satellite phone will help to transfer the information as quick as possible. Yes, the Assam Disaster Management has procured nearly 10 satellite phones, because each satellite phones cost very much higher, and they are funding this one to safeguard the habitat and ecosystem of the Kaziranga National Park. Next, it is GSLV, Geosynchronous Satellite Launch Vehicle F10 EOS-03. So recently the ISRO's second mission of this 2021, which is EOS, Earth Observation Satellite. EOS means Earth Observation Satellite. Earth Observation. It has suffered a major setback because after a long time ISRO has suffered an anomaly, and because of that the mission could not be accomplished fully, because the anomaly or a disturbance happened, and this rocket has stopped at the cryogenic stage, and the rocket has fallen, and the mission was not able to accomplish fully. Yes, because of the performance anomaly. And the EOS, Earth Observation Satellite, is a state of art Earth observation. It will be placed in the geosynchronous transfer orbit around 36,000 kilometers. 36,000 kilometers high from the surface of the Earth. Yes, and it is used by the onboarding propulsion system, and because of the problem with the propulsion system, the rocket could not be placed at the desired orbit. Next, it is wobble ball grip. So recently Anderson of UK, and he had a better chances with respect to Pujara and Virat Kohli because of the swing of the ball. So this is called as wobble. So wobble moves, okay, it means to move or cause unsteadily from side to side. Yes, in cricket the wobble grip is almost similar to this Anderson outswing grip. So it is respect to cricket. So this is how the ball will be held. Generally the thumb of this ball will be placed here like this, but to make the ball wobble it will be kept like this. So this line is called as seam. This is called as seam. Instead of placing the that index finger like this, it will be placed like here. Thumb, it will be placed like here, so that if the ball is released it will make the ball wobble, okay, not go in a symmetric way, it will make the ball wobble, and because of that, okay, the angle, okay, it will be slight even more higher and the ball will be predictable. So this is called as wobble ball grip. Next, it is minority school. Recently NCPCR, so which is National Commission for Protection of Child Rights, it has released a report about the impact of exemption under Article 15 and with regards to Article 21. Article 21 talks about right to education, right to elementary education for 6 to 14 years of students across the country. It is made as a fundamental right by 86 Constitutional Amendment Act of 2002. The thing is, they assess the status of the minority schools. Yes, Article 30 gave the right for the minorities to establish and administer educational institutions. That is why these minority schools, okay, are exempted from implementing this right to education policy, RTE, Article 21A. So they don't have to establish this RTE policy, because under this RTA, okay, 25% of the seats have to be allocated separately to the economically weaker section or the families below poverty line. Yes, and also these schools does not fall under Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, Anaivarukkum Kalvi Thittam, Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan SSA. And after this report, the NCPCR says that, okay, these minority schools also to be brought under RTE and Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, right to education, Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, because it has become mandatory. These rules has to be ticked, and that is a recommendation given by this NCPCR, National Commission for Protection of Child Rights. Then 127th Constitutional Amendment Bill. So recently Lok Sabha passed this 127th Constitutional Amendment Bill. So it means it changes a provision that has been provided in the Constitution. That is, the bill seeks to restore the state's power to make their own OBC list. Yes. Before that, the president has to do the have to list who are all the OBCs. Like same for STs. And this bill, before that it was like that, and it was changed to the president's power. And this bill seeks to restore the state's power to make their own OBC list. BC, MBC, DNC, all this list, okay, the power, it will be restored back to the states. They only will say which community belongs to BC, which community belongs to MBC. Yes, to identify the OBCs that are socially and economically backward, SCBCs, after a Supreme Court order. Yes. So why it has been brought? Because the Maratha reservation given, because recently Maratha reservation, okay, Marathas has been given reservation in the Maharashtra region, and the bill is passed, but the Supreme Court says that, okay, this will, it's strike down because this cannot be done by the state government, it has to be done by the central government. And yes, after that the Supreme Court says that you have to give the power to the state, because the state only knows who are all the people, okay, who are less developed, who are all the people who are more developed. And yes, and it instead of the Article 338B and 342A, yes, that which said that the President of India, in consultation with the governors, okay, would specify social and economically backward classes. So the governors, it will be given, the aid and advice will be given by CM plus COM, state executive, and after the representation will be given by the CM plus COM. The governor will tell who are all the people or who are all the sectors, okay, which has to be included in the OBC. And yes, and after this numbering system, this 127th is actually 105th Constitutional Amendment after the proper numbering. Yes, Tajikistan. Yes, so recently the Afghan issue, because of the Afghan issue, Afghanistan has border with Tajikistan, Pakistan, and also Uzbekistan, and because of that problem, lot of refugees, okay, have started to move, okay, in the neighboring Tajikistan. Yes, and also the Afghan Tajiks, the border areas, they are having this cultural ties with each of the countries. They are also, okay, rejecting this Taliban group. There are different opinions. Some group is opposing Taliban and some group is supporting Taliban. But the problem is the nearby country terrorist organization is being on the free run. So that is why Tajikistan has a lot of responsibility to increase its regional security. Yes. So Dushanbe, the capital of Tajikistan, okay, it senses that there will be some impact because of the nearby Afghanistan, because the Taliban says that they are gonna establish emirate and they are gonna establish Sharia law, Islamic religious law. Yes. Also, Tajikistan and Afghanistan share porous border with Afghanistan, and the challenges for the Tajikistan is, spillover of this terrorism, spillover of extremism, and also cross-border trafficking of illicit drugs, narcotics, pouring of refugees, and also trafficking of humans and other sex slaves. So this is the challenges that is posed in front of Tajikistan through this porous border. And yes, Tajikistan, it is one of the former Soviet Union countries. Yes, Tajikistan until 1991. Okay, in 1991, disintegration of USSR, United Soviet Republic, and Tajikistan was a part. And in fact, during that invasion of Afghanistan by Russia, the Taliban was created only because of that. Because Russia wanted to invade Afghanistan and want to capture Afghanistan, but the local resistance by youth and other people started Taliban. So initially Taliban was created, okay, as a militant organization to oppose the Russian invasion in the Afghanistan. Later only their motive has changed, and this is why the last 20 years of problem that has been happening in Afghanistan. Next, it is earthquakes in Haiti. Haiti, which is a islandic nation, because of the presence of Haiti in a trans-border zone. You see, okay, the Earth's crust is made up of tectonic plates, and the movement of tectonic plates has caused, okay, this earthquake to the Haiti, the North American plate and the Caribbean plate. Since the Haiti is placed in between the intersection of these two plates, whenever the tectonic plates try to move across each other, try to converge or try to diverge or move across each other horizontally, it causes the earthquake. And recently a lot of destruction happened, lot of people are killed. Yes, and this happens recently and always. See, till the 18th century, lot of such earthquakes has happened, and the city of Port-au-Prince was destroyed twice in the last 19 years, and it has made Haiti an unsafe country to live in. Next, it is tomato leaf curl New Delhi virus. So effective defense strategy, okay, has been deployed to create a resistance against this tomato disease, and this has been launched by the scientists of National Institute of Plant Genome Research. So this disease, tomato leaf curl New Delhi virus, has been found, okay, and it causes severe loss in tomato yields. It affects the leaves and it reduces the yield or efficiency of the tomato. Yes, because of the lack of information about which resistant gene. So how to create resistance? Generally, whenever this virus attack, the scientists will develop a resistant gene which shows resistance towards the particular virus, but still now that specific resistant gene was not being found out, and because of that only it has been going beyond the limit and lot of losses happens because of that. Yes, and National Institute of Plant Genomic Research, and they are readying a special report on effective defense, okay, by deploying a resistant tomato cultivator against this tomato leaf curl New Delhi virus. And next, it is visceral leishmaniasis. Yes, so this is Indian researchers have recently developed a non-invasive, which means without less blood or without any surgical procedure, to administer cost-effective, okay, and cheap therapeutic strategy against visceral leishmaniasis. This leishmaniasis, it is an infectious disease caused by the bite of sandflies, female sandflies. Yes, and it is considered as a neglected tropical disease. Generally, when a disease is neglected tropical disease, it means the pharmaceutical companies across the world, they don't show interest to produce vaccines or produce these antibodies, medicines against these tropical diseases. That is called neglected tropical diseases, like dengue, malaria, all are called as neglected tropical disease. One of this is this leishmaniasis, viral leishmaniasis. Yes, it affects millions, and India is the most affected, and it is considered as the second most common parasitic killer diseases after malaria. So parasitic diseases, the bite will cause the parasites to go into your body, and it will go and it will store in the different parts of the body, and it causes difficulties. Like that, in India and around the globe, it is the second most parasitic killer, and the first is malaria, mosquito bites, and this is by means of sandfly bite. Yes, and they have given a strategy on oral drugs coated with vitamin B12 to increase the immunity against this visceral leishmaniasis. Next, it is Ramsar Convention. Recently, India has added 4 more sites to its Ramsar Convention, 2 each from Haryana and Gujarat. Yes, Ramsar Convention is the only convention, only binding convention across the world to protect wetlands across the globe. So Ramsar, it is a place in Iran where this convention has been signed first. Yes, and the Sultanpur National Park in Gorgan and Bindavas Wildlife Sanctuary in Jajjar, both in Haryana, has been added. And Tol Lake Wildlife Sanctuary and Wadwana Sanctuary, Wadwana Wetland from Gujarat. So both together 4, 2 from Haryana and 2 from Gujarat has been added. So this Bindavas Wildlife Sanctuary is a human-made freshwater island. It is not natural made, it is an artificial human-made freshwater, and it is also the largest freshwater wetland in the Haryana. And the Sultanpur National Park, it has nearly 220 species of winter and migratory birds, and also you see this Tol Lake Wildlife Sanctuary in Gujarat part, it lies in the Central Asian Flyway, CAF. There are a lot of Asian flyways. Generally, flyways means migratory birds travel across the continents. For example, Siberian migratory birds travel from Siberia, North Arctic region, and it crisscrosses the continent from Russia, Central Asia, India, Indian Ocean, and then it goes to India and also to the Mauritius and other African countries. So this area is called as flyway, where the migratory birds cross from one continent to other continent for this hatching, because generally the Siberian birds will go there during summer. During winter, the climate will be very harsh, so that the Siberian birds will migrate via the Central Asian highway to the south, so that it will be very warm here, and it will come here, it will reproduce, it will grow the chick, and along with all the ducklings and along with all the offsprings, it will again go back to the Siberia. So this is called as Central Asian flyway. Yes, and the Wadwan wetland, it is also an internationally important area for bird life. Yes, and it has nearly 80 species that includes in the Central Asian flyway. So all these are recognized as Ramsar Convention. Ramsar, important sites of Ramsar Convention. And once the recognition has been given, more protection will come, and more investment and more vigil can be given to conserve these kind of Ramsar authorized wetlands. Next, it is PM Gati Shakti Master Plan. On the 75th Independence Day, PM Modi has announced that nearly 100 lakh crore project for a holistic infrastructure development of the country. Yes, and it will help the India to raise a global profile, and 100 lakh crore project for holistic infrastructure. It means health, education, infrastructure, industry, through all the areas to improve the infrastructure throughout India. So it is just only announcement, and the details of the project are yet to come. Along with this Gati Shakti Master Plan, National Hydrogen Mission also been announced, and also opening up of Sainik School, army school for girls as well, because Sainik schools are open only for boys, but the announcement has been done for opening the Sainik school for girls as well. Then incel movement. Recently, a dangerous online subculture called incel, which is the blended word of involuntary celibates. Celibates mean people who don't marry, who don't have sex, and who associate themselves from all this worldly pressures. They will stay away from the worldly pressures. Brahmacharyam is nothing but celibates. No marriage, no physical intimacy, nothing, and they will be alone, all alone. And these people, they formed a movement called incel, involuntary celibate, which is the combined word of incel. So they will express their misogynistic views about movement. Misogynistic means male supremacy, and it has a threat to law and order. A lot of killing has happened recently in Plymouth in UK, United Kingdom. Yes, it is a community of men who describe themselves as involuntary celibates, brahmacharyam, and they don't want any relationship with a woman. They want to live alone, and they will attack and kill people who are in relationship. The men who are part of this harbor a deep resentment towards both women and men who are sexually active. According to them, sexual activeness it's an addiction, and we are people of slave to the sex. And they blame women for their lack of sexual and social status. Since they cannot get their own sexual desires satisfied, and they cannot be in a relationship, they tend to express this male supremacy, and they believe that the whole world is female supremacy, and it is unequal with respect to males. And this extreme section has also even advocated violence. Recently a killing has happened by one member belong to this incel community. Next, it is Ningbo port. Recently, China has partially shut down this world's third busiest container after someone has tested for COVID-19. Yes, so this port is present in the Shanghai, which is one of the busiest city across the globe, and because of this Ningbo port has been closed and it threatens this global supply. And that's it with the current affairs. Okay, let us come up with a more informative and innovative current affairs in the next current affairs session. Thank you.